here. Where's the... I'm all in the way. I'm sorry. Let me get this okay. Let me walk right here. There's all these dips. Give them a hand, everyone. Connections. Connections. Give them a hand, everyone. Yes. Connections. These are all young people. Thank you, Connections. Connections is here, and so is their very fine Principal Sydney Brooks. It's not easy being an educator these days, but we're glad that we have people from here that are actually stepping into leadership roles. My name is Karen Miller, and I'm just the MC part-time. Yes, just the part-time. But we wanted to start out with drums because that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the program, and also it's the foundation for the community healing village that's going to be coming in 2 years, providing we get full funding from the state and also the city. Hint, hint. Okay. All right. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mujahid Muhammad, the executive director of K.E.Y.S. He's going to say a prayer. And also I would like for Abdul Salim to come up as well, who's also co-founder of K.E.Y.S. Can we give them a round of applause, these guys? You can acknowledge.
Before we get started, I am thankful for everyone coming out. So I want to acknowledge a couple people, but prior to that, I want to acknowledge you as a community, because the goal of today is recognizing where we come from and actualizing the dream of where we're going. So I want to thank all of you, community, foundation, funding, state, city, but most importantly, my families that live on this block right here. Clap it up for my families that live right here. This is why we're here today. And in an effort to make that happen, we want to recognize our Lieutenant Governor, Boyd Rutherford. We want to recognize, please clap, our City Council President, Nick Mosby, our Senator, Antonio Hayes, our Mayor, Brandon Scott, our Senator, because this is a community and this is our city, Senator Corey McCray. We have a couple of other acknowledgments that will come in a bit, but we want to take the time right now for prayer. So in the tradition, Islam, I will give what's called the Fatiha, and then I will connect all of us with some of its meaning. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Iddina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. Today, we recognize that there's a path that we all must take. That path is one that's set out from us, from God. There's one path that we must take, and through that path, we will find success. But down that path, there are things that are going to pull us from the right way. There are things that are going to distract us. Even if we know what the path is, there are things that will distract us. But it's our responsibility to find our way back to that right path, because only that path will lead to success. So we ask God today to allow us to stay on that path. And if we swerved off that path at all, to help us find our way back to that path. And with that, we say Ameen.
Hello, Abdul Salam of K.E.Y.S Development. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank yourselves again. So, I've had my highlight today already. I blew mines, right? And my highlight today was having our scholars open this ground up. What you saw, give it up for them, please. The scholars that you saw here dancing, performing, displaying their art, as Muhammad spoke of, they're organic to this community. We bust them 5 minutes. They could have walked here, but we didn't want them sweaty. We wanted their legs joyous to fellowship. This is their community. So this was their groundbreaking. But now you put us to work. You put us to work because now we have promises to keep. We have dreams to fulfill. When we told them what would be in this building, when we told them what was promised, when we told them what is theirs, now they have charged us and held us accountable. One of my seniors to stand up. Shania, please stand up. It's important we recognize Shania because Shania has been part of this dream, this vision for over 6 years. So it is a Shania that we look to not only be part of the gentrification, get used to that term, not gentrification, we're gonna gentrify. Shania is one of those leaders that we look to make sure we keep here as a pillar and incorporate as a pillar of this community from middle school to a professional. From middle school to a professional. So without further ado, I want to introduce Shania's principal that is accountable I'm sorry. Not yet. I'm sorry. Without further ado, we're going to turn it over to our partner, Keith Rose. Say a few words.
Well, good afternoon, and sorry for my tardiness. I do have a newborn, so I guess everybody can relate to that. I just want to say thanks to everyone who helped us with this. This is us. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, brothers. Thank everyone. I mean, this is something that we've been praying about, fighting with, struggling with, pushing forward to get, and it's here. And we just want to thank everyone here who really has supported us and helped us from the beginning. This is a 10-year vision, and it's here. So once again, thank you all. Thank you.
So quickly, for those of us, if this is your first introduction to K.E.Y.S, K.E.Y.S was born out of these three brothers, including myself, being in the mental health field. In the community, in the hospital, and in the school system. That's where we come from. So the three avenues that touch the most people. And what we found was that majority of us here, we're quiet and we don't talk about the things that affect us. And when we're talking about mental health, we're talking about not necessarily things that affect us personally, but we fear to talk about what's happening to our family members. Because maybe we're not the individual going through it, but somebody in our family is. And we fear it so much that we're hesitant to get them help. And that hesitation often comes because of barriers. It may be that we don't want other people to know. It may be that we don't have access directly in our community where we feel comfortable. But what changes with this project is the idea that we can still allow barriers to exist when it comes to helping people affected by mental and emotional distress. So we had to believe that we could do this. And some of us in this community, we weren't sure if we could do it. Some of us, we weren't sure if we can do it. But often, as therapists, we're taught, and we can all take this skill, if the person you're helping doesn't believe, believe in them. Believe for them. I want to introduce you to the Lieutenant Governor, Boyd Rutherford, who, when many did not believe in this project, he was one of, getting coughed up on that one. It's real. He was one of the first to believe, and he showed it by assuring that the first domino with regards to funding dropped. I went out to Annapolis, and this was my first introduction to the Lieutenant Governor. And he made me feel so comfortable before we started talking because I saw Bruce Lee on the wall. And I said, okay, there's something I can connect with. But more importantly, I left that office believing more than I did when I walked in. So I want to thank you, Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford. Please come on up.
Thank you. And someone's BMW keys. Oh, okay. I can't accept gratuity for. Give me a couple of months and then I can. But thank you, Mohammed. Yeah, that was. When you came in, I don't know. Time just flies by. Pre-COVID, we were already, working on a commission that I chaired to address mental health. Mental health as well as substance use, addiction, because they do go hand in hand. Many of the folks who are suffering from substance use disorder or addiction also have underlying mental health conditions that probably were untreated and they were self-medicating, and then vice versa, that they may start in one direction and have the others. And so you came in and talking about something that was something we were already working on, but at the state level. But you're at the level, the grassroots level, at the people level. We can talk about policy at the state or in the city, and at the federal level, we can talk about policy, but you got to reach the people, and that's what you're talking about. So, no, I am glad to be here. I am glad to see us getting together on a groundbreaking for the K.E.Y.S Development Community Healthy Village Center, Healing Village Center And healing is something that we all need to do. Even pre-COVID, you know, it's like we now have this line here that we talk about post-COVID or pre-COVID or current COVID. But there was, you know, as you all know, as we all know, there's a lot of trauma in our communities. There's a lot of, as Muhammad talked about, other underlying issues that we don't always talk about. You know, we kind of have been conditioned not to talk about it. But it is okay to be not okay. You know, the difference is to seek help and seek assistance. So this center will represent a coming together to help revitalize a community. But most importantly, it will represent a place that will provide people who live in the city with resources that they need and resources they deserve. And again, just the name of a community healing village speaks to that purpose. And I'm proud to know that K.E.Y. will use this location to not only help heal, but to serve meals to residents, provide fitness, you know, programs, mental health services, you know, and please, folks, if you know someone who is struggling, and if you're struggling or you just feel different, you know, talk to someone. You know, talk to someone as soon as possible. And of course, education programs. So, you know, it's not just about buildings and businesses, but it is about, you know, the mind, body, and soul of a community. And so this development will help the people here as well as those throughout the city. So I too want to acknowledge the partners who were involved in this, from our Maryland Department of Housing Community Development, and I know Carol Gilbert is somewhere around here. There's Carol over there. The Maryland Stadium Authority, and I'll get to the Stadium Authority's involvement. Coppin State University, and the president here, President Jenkins, is here. And I have to say this all the time, he's my homeboy. We're both from D.C. I know we're in Baltimore, but we both are from D.C. So D.C. guys. And of course the city is all right, okay. And of course the city, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. President, thank you. And, you know, through our administration, we put together Project K.E.Y.S, an initiative with the Stadium Authority to be able to clear the school, take the school down, to clear the space for the Healing Community Center that's going to be there. And then also, through the State Seed Community Development Anchor Institution Fund with Coppin, we were able to award $1.2 million for their partnership. And through the Seed Fund, the state is able to support neighborhood revitalization and economic development activities that are in the area of a seed institution, which Coppin State is, University is. And in addition, in our 2022 budget, and Muhammad alluded to it, we put in, I guess, the pre-seed money of $1 million in the capital budget that went in to support the project and let people know that this was serious and that the state had the back of Muhammad and his partners on this project. So many people are familiar. You know, many people are familiar with Project K.E.Y.S, and they're familiar with the programs that have taken place, but they really don't quite understand all the leverage that we use that program for to bring resources together. And this is a good example. You know, since the inception of Project K.E.Y.S some 6 years ago, we focused on removing vacant buildings in the city and providing additional investment to give the community what they wanted. Now, we didn't come in, we as the state are not coming in and saying exactly what you're to do with the property, but it's up to the community, it's up to the city, it's up to the people in terms of what they're going to do. It's just an assistance to the city to take down buildings that may be in the way of prosperity, may be in the way of development, may be in the way of what a community wants, be it green space, be it buildings, be it a healing center. So working together, with Project Core, we were able to take down blighted buildings or stabilized buildings in some cases, providing park space. There's some 15 acres of parks and green space and 1,200 units of affordable residential housing and hundreds of thousands of space for leasable commercial space. And so with the financing support of Project Core, it has directed some $800 million of state funds in communities throughout the city. And so this fiscal year, we're adding another $20 million to Project Core, and we will continue those efforts going forward, even though we're only going to be there for another 9 months. Make sure the next folks, continue with this. So I want to thank Mayor Scott, of course, for the partnership, and City Council President Mosby, thank you all for, being our partners in all of these activities. And I just want to say in closing, great things are happening in Baltimore. And the only way to sustain that progress and usher in a new era here is to continue to strengthen those partnerships between the city, the state, the nonprofits, the communities, the community associations, and the people, making sure that we're all on the same page and moving in the right direction. So again, congratulations to K.E.Y.S Development on this special day and for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you again. Close this out.
So this is a storyline, so you can't miss it. Please, don't leave early, because this is a storyline we're working down. So to get things moving, you need your government to support what you're doing. And often, we wait for government to support us, or we have to ask. In some cases, we have to beg. With our mayor, this is not the case. This mayor has made himself not only readily available to help support this project, but readily available with his hands to come and help support the kids and the adults that we support. So with leadership like our mayor, Brandon Scott, who's willing not to leave from behind City Hall, but to leave City Hall and join us in the street, supporting the efforts that K.E.Y.S is out here doing, we can't lose. We're gonna get this done. But what we need more than anything is we needed a little more belief. And what our mayor told us was that it's already done. So just believe it. So with that, I introduce you to the person that continues to motivate our city, Mayor Brandon Scott.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you, Brother Muhammad. And good morning, good afternoon now, everyone. Today is a beautiful day here in West Baltimore. Mr. Lieutenant Governor, always good to be with you. Just so you know, there are so many black people from D.C. living in Baltimore, you might as well be the next one. They're coming in droves, and we want them all to come here. We want them all to come here. Always good to be with Senator Antonio Hayes Sr. Good to be with you, sir. My Senator Corey McCray is in the back. Mr. Council President, always good to be with you, with our college presidents and leaders here as well. But most importantly, I come here today not just to congratulate the brothers from K.E.Y.S, but more importantly to say thank you. Thank you. to you all. Thank you for believing in not just the right now of Baltimore, but the future of Baltimore City. Yeah, y'all can clap for that. Clap for the brothers from K.E.Y.S. Thank you for not giving up on Baltimore. Thank you for making sure that you stayed and did the work when no one was looking, when no one was congratulating you, when no one was talking about giving you money to build a wellness center. You continue to do the necessary work for our community. And we all know that mental health is a severe issue because of the other issues that we have in our community. Mental health and behavioral health is vital for us as we work to improve the well-being and quality of life available to our residents, especially in our black and brown communities in Baltimore, where often, as you heard earlier, we avoid and stigmatize mental health. And I think that we have to push and understand why that is. We've been trained and raised to say, especially for our young brothers, that if you tell someone how you feel, that makes you weak. In fact, that makes you stronger. What makes you weak is if you hold those feelings inside. What makes you weak if you push those feelings off on your loved ones or someone that you don't know. What makes you strong is you go out and say that I am not well and I need to help. And that's what K.E.Y.S is doing each and every day, because we together, we understand the importance of improving that mental health and wellness in our city and in our communities. And a lot has happened over the past 2 years. But we know that a lot happens each and every day and happened each and every day before COVID-19 that impacts the mental health of folks in this community. We've all had to deal with so much uncertainty, burying more loved ones than we have before, seeing so many people struggle more than we have before. So this is needed on top of the pre-existing things that we have: racism, prejudice, redlining, violence, substance abuse, everything else that has been choking the wellness and mental well-being of our communities, of our families. And what we are talking about is why exactly we need a community healing village. This is what we need so that we can address these issues and unlock a better and brighter future for our residents and the generations to come. They often say that it takes a village to raise a child. But I'll add that it takes a village to ensure that we all can grow into the best versions of ourselves, because you don't just stop learning when you become an adult. You don't just stop growing when you become an adult. We have to grow each and every day. And I know the brothers know this, but I will be here not just for the groundbreaking and the ribbon cutting, but for whatever I can put my hands into to help you expand the work. With other young person, with other family I can personally touch to help you expand the work, because it's going to take everybody here and 200 times over to make Baltimore the best version of itself. It's not going to just be us. It's not just going to be K.E.Y.S. Everybody has to pitch in to make sure that you are putting some skin and effort and sweat equity into the game of making our city the best version of itself. That will start here, but it will not end here. Congratulations again, K.E.Y.S. Thank you, and I can't wait for us to get deeper into the work together.
So we're going to take just a quick break. The children have to go to another event, and the bus will be coming, and so we're going to give them a moment to exit stage right, my stage right. Thank you. Can we thank the young people once again?
Y'all did a great job. Appreciate y'all. Connections. All right, we're going to continue. Take your time, take your time. But for time's sake, we'll continue. The next part of getting this done, because this is a storyline, is mentorship. Not mentorship that K.E.Y.S provides, but mentorship that's provided to K.E.Y.S. When I said I had a couple of other people to introduce, I waited because right now, I spent half my life in Newark, New Jersey, and the rest on Division Street. My partner Abdul Salam, depending on the day you ask him, he spent so much time in Baltimore. He started in Jersey, but he spent so much time here moving back and forth. He might be from over east or over west, depending on who talking to him. And my partner, Keith Rose, is homegrown all the way from East Baltimore. But if you see him, everybody over west think he's from over here. I'm telling on him right now. To get to this point, it wasn't us. It was individuals that are here like Chu Smith. It was individuals that are here like John Bullock. It are individuals that are here like Dr. Bunley. It was individuals that are here like Nancy Blackwell. It was individuals as of recent. Like this brother here, Dr. Jenkins. Because I talk about belief, we are a community-based organization. We are a community-based organization, and it's rare that a university, a HBCU, says, I'm moving my campus, I'm moving the work that we're doing from the campus to North Avenue to Ashburton to Baker. This doesn't happen often. So that piece that's important to us is mentorship. So what allowed us to get to you was individuals prior to that when we first got started, and there was no K.E.Y.S. There were just three brothers working in community. City Council President Nick Mosby, who's affectionate, if you don't know, who's affectionately known in the community as Big Homie. Because that commitment to us being Baltimore, wasn't tied to K.E.Y.S, it was just tied to you. It was tied to his family. His commitment to us had nothing to do with us. We were just doing the same thing. When we met, we had no idea that he was a councilman or he was just doing similar work. And what allowed us to be effective in the work that we do together was because we aligned. We are aligned in the fact that no matter what goes on in this city, we're not going down with the ship. We're pulling the ship out of the wreck. So I want to introduce you to Nick J. Mosby, Big Homie of Baltimore City.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I know that Muhammad acknowledged, but would like to give a huge acknowledgement to the councilman of this area, John Bullock. If you could stand, John. The work that K.E.Y.S is doing and the reason that we're here today is it runs deeply with all of the work that John does on our council. The reality is, Muhammad, Abdul, and Keith, I feel strongly that we wouldn't be standing here without a man. And that's a man with the vision of these three, I'm gonna call them young black men who are direct reflections of this community, not just by their appearance, but their cultural connection to this community. Took an idea that unfortunately in 2022 is a unique idea, is a bold idea, is an idea that's out of the box, but took that idea to our state's capital. And I'm going to say it, and I believe that if it wasn't for this man who believed in them, who understood their heart, their vision, that we would not be standing here today. So we've already clapped for him, but I'm going to ask you another huge round of applause for our Lieutenant Governor, Boyd Rutherford, for your unwavering commitment for times like this. Now, what I will say is this groundbreaking is a groundbreaking. Let's unpackage that. This groundbreaking is a groundbreaking. There's not many times that we come to this part of West Baltimore or other parts of West Baltimore or other parts of East Baltimore, the parts that have been disproportionately disinvested in, the parts that have been forgotten about, the parts that policy was driven and written to create the conditions that we're in. There's not many times that we come here and we see this level of media for something positive. Amen? Jay-Z one time said, news cameras never come where I'm from. They don't, unless we're talking about something negative. This groundbreaking is groundbreaking because there's not many opportunities where we can talk about an organization that is going to grow development of this scale and this size in our community that, again, are reflecting of the community. 3 young, black, African-American men who are culturally connected to this community in the face of helping folks with trauma and deal with that trauma. This is groundbreaking. This is a groundbreaking of a groundbreaking. And last but not least, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, this is a groundbreaking to a groundbreaking because it's not often that we see this level of state, city, and private partnership to understand and know in order for us to dig out the hole of violence, dig out the hole of our educational issues, rebuild our communities responsibly, that we have to do it through trauma-informed care. And it's that commitment and that partnership and that unity that we see here today. That's why today is so special. This must be a symbolic representation of exactly what we need to do to continue to grow our communities responsibly. Returning the whole individual so we can develop those economic paradigm shifts in our communities with folks who have been dealing with the trauma of our communities. That's what today is about. So to Brother Muhammad, Brother Abdul, and Brother K.E.Y.S, even though you went to Baltimore City College, I had to put that out there, Brandon Wiley. Even though you went to Baltimore City College, and I will tell you every time I see you, but no, from the bottom of my heart, you understand and know you have a huge commitment and partnership here with the city of Baltimore. And again, thank you so much for Brother Boyd Rutherford for putting us here today. Abdul, come up real quick. I'm sorry. I have a quick resolution, and Brother Bullock, you come up. It's a small token from the appreciation from the Baltimore City Council. City Council of Baltimore resolution, be it hereby known to all that the City Council of Baltimore offers its sincerest congratulations to K.E.Y.S Development in recognition of this momentous occasion for the groundbreaking of the Community Healing Village that serves Baltimore City and its youth. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this day, the 4th of May, 2022, signed by myself and members of the City Council.
All right, as we move on, there's a level of mentor. There's another level of mentorship. It's a level that expects that expects greatness. It's a level that expects greatness, and there are a few that can push as hard as these people. One of those persons is Bilal Ali. And if you know Bilal Ali, you know he pushes kind of hard. But Bilal Ali's push allowed for my relationship with Senator Antonio Hayes to flourish. Because Bilal Ali, this was before senator or delegate. This was Hayes. Bilal Ali said, I know you know him. I know y'all all connected, and y'all may hang out sometime. But this brother may be the only man that cares about this area more than y'all. And to build a relationship with this brother, a relationship of trust, we had to prove it. He had to see us in action. And after he saw us in action, we had to keep up. Because every single day, he's on the move doing something. Not for the district, but for Baltimore City. If there was a battery in our back to ensure that we don't stop doing the work that we do for families and for children, it would be this man. So please help me welcome the battery of K.E.Y.S development, Senator Antonio Hayes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Today is a powerful day, and I just want to thank the brothers from K.E.Y.S Development. Also, definitely want to show homage and thank the Lieutenant Governor, who has been a tremendous partner here in West Baltimore. And I have to thank him now because he might not like some of the comments I say later about some of his other associates. But no, the Lieutenant Governor has been steadfast in his commitment here in West Baltimore. Also, I think I saw, my brother from another mother across town in East Baltimore, Senator Corey McCray, who is here. I appreciate him coming over. He went from vacants to value when he went from East Baltimore to West Baltimore. Also, I saw my good colleague, John Bullock, and let me tell you something about John Bullock. He's not speaking today, but when this property first went up for RFP from the city of Baltimore, oftentimes they rely on a local councilman to weigh in, right? And at the end of the day, it came down to an affordable housing developer who had over 30 years of experience at building in communities like this. And then the other person that was vying for this property was K.E.Y.S Development, who had never did a development project ever. Their bellywig was mental health. And with the urging of my colleague, former delegate, Bilal Ali, John and I had a conversation, and the conversation kind of went, yeah, we have a developer who has 30 years of experience of building. And we have this organization of individuals who want to develop for the first time. But if we don't give these brothers a chance, who will? And thank you, John Bullock, for stepping up to the plate and weighing in, and Delegate Bilal Ali for weighing in and making sure that we show support to give them an opportunity that brought us here today. And that was over 6 years, some 6 years ago. Also, I saw creeping, and I know he's not going to be speaking, Dr. Jay Perman, Chancellor of the University of Maryland System, former president of University of Baltimore, is here. And University of Maryland, Baltimore, right? And yeah, two different schools. I got you. But he has an awesome responsibility of overseeing our 13 four-year degree granting institution, including Coppin State University. And I'm glad that he found it not robbery to join Dr. Golly, I forgot your name, Dr. Jenkins. Ain't that something? As much as I bother him, I should never forget his name, but Dr. Jenkins. But also, Muhammad said that there's some important people here. I do see a couple of community people. Miss Kitty, I saw her somewhere from Rosemont. And also Mr. Robert Hunt, president of the Rosemont Community Association, who really make things like this happen. Also, one of the newest additions to our family, and you all will hear much more about this. This is just outside the catchment area. But Chad Williams, who's the newly appointed executive director of the West North Avenue Development Authority, is in the building. Chad, just raise your hand so people know who you are, yes. Over the last couple of years, we've been able to, create the West North Avenue Development Authority, which is going to attract major investment. But I'm glad the council president acknowledged the press that's here. But there's two people that I just invited to come here today. About 30 minutes ago, I had a meeting with them an hour before this. I don't know if Victor and Sean is still here somewhere in the audience. And then I saw Chu. But in the Park Heights community, probably a year ago, there were stories done about the lack of investment that similar to right here in Rosemont that was happening up there in Park Heights. But these two brothers are building $300,000 homes with rooftop decks in the middle of Park Heights, and they're selling like hotcakes. And so it's investment like this and the investment that people like Muhammad and others are doing in our community is tremendous. I won't hold you long, but on the way in, Jackie Caldwell, and I think Jackie's still here, former president of Greater Mondawmin, and I, we're talking about ACEs. And for those of you who may not be familiar with ACEs, ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And oftentimes in our community, we know about the physical scars, right? So we know if you get a cut, you go to the hospital, you get a Band-Aid on there. They even made TV shows about ER and stuff like that. But we often don't know about the invisible scars, the scars of mental health that permeate our community. And so I am so honored to be here today to celebrate the Healthy Healing Village that is going to deal with those invisible scars that affect our community also often and create barriers to those to be successful. In 2016, and Senator McCray, if he was here, could to attest to this, former Speaker Mike Bush came to a colleague of mine and I and asked us to sponsor a piece of legislation called the Seed Anchor Institution Development Fund. It created opportunities for hospitals and universities to partner with private sector individuals to do development in blighted communities. And it's with that help, and the Lieutenant Governor spoke to this, that we were able to secure, for this project, $1.25 million to make sure that this project went off. And Dr. Jenkins, who will come up next after me, has only been at the university for almost 2 years now. But it didn't take much convincing. In 2016, we created the Seed Anchor Institution Development Fund, where institutions could leverage with the private sector, like organizations like K.E.Y.S Development, and do projects like this. It wasn't until 2 years ago, in 2014, Coppin put in their first application. And so not only did they secure $1.25 million for this project, another project that's coming online, the food court right up here in Coppin Heights, received another $700,000 or so, $50,000. And so things are happening. And a lot of that, I'm so proud to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Jenkins, the 8th president of Coppin State University, who has been true to his motto in experiencing the transformation, and doing so by chairing the West North Avenue Development Authority, and really having Coppin to be the anchor institution that gets in the ground to make projects like this happen. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to you my good friend, great leader of Coppin State University, Dr. Anthony Jenkins.
Thank you, Senator. It's a pleasure to be with everyone this afternoon. Let me start by saying hello. This is very impressive and very inspiring. And I promise you, I won't be before you long. In fact, I'll treat you like Elizabeth Taylor treated her 7 husbands. I won't keep you long. All right. So I just want to say a couple of things. With the proper protocol already being established and all of these elected officials and powerful people here today, I won't go through the actual litany of who's here. What I do want to say is first and foremost, this collaboration is significant in so many ways. And for the young people to appreciate and understand what you all are doing for them, I don't think they'll be able to connect those dots for years to come when they look back and say, I had a place to go that was a refuge. I had a place to go that was a beacon of hope. I had people that believed in me and people who mentored me. And those things are going to have a significant impact on on young people and some students and generations that you all may never get the opportunity to meet. And that is profound. And so I do want to just say that Coppin State University is honored to be a part of this wonderful venture. Yes, we were able to secure $1.25 million, but with the help of Senator Hayes and so many other important individuals. And we are going to continue to double down and be committed to our community. You know, every time I drive down North Avenue to get to work, Coppin sits up on a hill when you're coming down, and I tell folks we're the university on the hill because I want people to understand that as an anchor institution, we're going to do our part in making a difference in this community. So in this community center, and I love the colors, by the way. All right. I love those colors. In fact, we're going to drape it in more of those colors. All right. Listen. We have young people who come to our institution from across Baltimore, across the great state of Maryland, 30 different states to include the District of Columbia, and 19 international countries. And we want them to know, and we let them know that the expectation is, regardless of where you're from, you're going to invest in this community because they are a part of Coppin, and Coppin is a part of this community. So with our world-class nursing program, and our world-class social work program, and our world-class psychology program, we're going to invest, and we're going to mentor, and we're going to be here because this is our house. This is our community, and it is an honor to partner with you and to help you move this project forward. Before I go, again, Senator Hayes introduced Chancellor Perman. Just wanted to acknowledge him again. The 12 universities that make up our USM system are some of the best in the world, hands down, bar none. That doesn't happen by happenstance. It happens by great leadership, world-renowned faculty, students who believe in our product, and a community who invest in us. And so Jay is doing his part, you are doing yours as president of Coppin. I'm going to make sure we do ours. And together, we're going to help Baltimore rise. So thank you all very much.
So the story continues. So the idea of having the Chancellor Jay Perman here is amazing because education is one thing. Our school systems, both on a collegiate level, on an elementary and high school level, are interconnected. Because we do work to get them to you.
but your commitment as the chancellor of the schools in Maryland, your commitment to take your time to come out here today. Our commitment to you is that we are only an extension of your work. Because the work that you are putting in, you send students through internships, through summer programming, directly into community. This now becomes a part of your system. Because we will take on your students throughout the state of Maryland who are doing work in the fields of mental health, who are doing the work in the fields of nursing. And some of the challenges we have as a city, you now become a part of that healing. Thank you so much for what you do. And I want to make sure that that plaque that Karen has gets to you real quick. So this is going to Jay Perman and Dr. Jenkins. We got one. So this is a thank you because of your work as a Maryland State University from not an education standpoint, but from the standpoint of changing our city through those that you help change. I appreciate your commitment. With that said, the next level of mentorship comes real close. It comes with those who you work with day to day. You motivate each other. Examples, my brother Damon is out here from Family League. My sister Kalila is out here. We have PNC out here because K.E.Y.S and PNC will be working to get this done. So we have Rockefeller out here. We have individuals who we're going to be working with day to day to make this happen. We have the Baltimore Community Foundation out here. We have Annie Casey Foundation out here. So we have people that we're going to be working with day to day. But let me introduce you to a brother that we work with hour to hour, sometimes minute to minute. There is a principal in Baltimore who gets to his school before anybody gets to their school. There's a principal in Baltimore who leaves his school with the janitors. And we know at times, sometimes our janitors leave. They got a lot of work to put in, and they make sure that their school is ready for their students in the morning. But this principle is one, when it comes to concerns around mental health, is secondary to none. Please help me introduce the principal of those students you saw here today. My principal, Sidney Brooks.
Good afternoon, everybody. Forgive me if I get emotional. I'm a connected dot, so I'm going to be real quick. I have a Mother's Day brunch at our school that I have to speak at in a minute, and I cannot wait for that Mother's Day brunch to transition to this facility in a couple of years. I'm a big believer in the universe and how the universe works, and the timing of this Healing Village could not come at a better time. These students you saw here before you, and I'm going to connect the dots, had to learn, many of them started their middle school career on a computer screen, virtually. They learned those dances while working with their dance teachers within the confines of their home. Some with lights on, some sitting in closets, some in the cafeteria while 7 other siblings are on computers at the same time, trying to do this virtual learning thing, right? It's because of agencies like K.E.Y.S Development who served as connectors to homes, between the home and the school, that allowed us to be successful with the virtual learning. No, it did not go perfect, but we did the best we could. And without agencies like K.E.Y.S Development, we wouldn't be where we are today. We've partnered with them for over 6+ years, and it's the best decision that I've ever made as a school leader. And it's because of the leadership of our mayor, of our school CEO, who encourages us to build partnerships like we have with K.E.Y.S, because we know that the work has to be done not just between 8 and 4 every day. This is around-the-clock work in these school systems, and I know I saw my mentor, Dr. Bunley, out there, who taught me as a school leader that, you know, the work really happens outside of the school day. And K.E.Y.S Development helps me with everything I need to do, whether it was delivering laptops to students, delivering hotspots, making sure families had food, making sure families had lights on, make sure if they needed housing, they were there every step of the way to make sure that our kids were successful. I mean, this right here, to be here and be a part of this healing village, after educating in this community for 20+ years, leading 6 of those years, it's groundbreaking, like Councilman Mosby said. This is big for Baltimore. There are a lot of great things going on in Baltimore. A lot of great things, and we're gonna continue to push the narrative despite what others say. And if these kids didn't show you that today, then so be it. We're gonna continue to do this work around the clock. And we're gonna let this not only be the first center, but the first of many more. The first of many more. I wanna thank you all for having me here. I appreciate K.E.Y.S, Brother Muhammad, Brother Abdul. He and I matriculated at Morgan State University 25+ years ago. And here we are, 2 black men in this work along with Muhammad and Keith as well. And so I'm encouraged by this, and I want to thank you all for having me out. All right? Have a great one.
So the work we do is centered around mental health. And there's certain support systems that come with that to ensure that the work we do is impactful. The system that I'm going to introduce you to is part of that work. But the work, it takes partners. The Hoffberg Foundation partnered with K.E.Y.S. It's been about 2 years now. And they partnered with K.E.Y.S in a way where they said, look, we want to work with you, but we want to understand how you do what you do. I want to thank them for that, because it doesn't happen often. We want to also thank White and Turner, the White and Turner, because when we have needs in families' homes, there's a contact at White and Turner that we call to be able to fix houses for some of our parents when they have holes in their floors, and there is one house that White and Turner fixed up for free. That's about 3 minutes away from where we stand. I want to bring up Laren Jackson, because the work we do is centered around mental health. Laren Jackson is not just our nurse practitioner. Laren Jackson is our change agent. How are we effective at what we do? What does it take? It takes a sister like this who's able to take the science of mental health and bring it to the front doors of Breaker Street. How are we so effective? we're effective because we have this sister with us. Lauren Jackson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lauren Jackson. For those who aren't aware, I'm a Coppin graduate, 2008. I'm also a board-certified psychiatric nurse practitioner. Thanks. I'll make this short, sweet. Basically, just I'm ecstatic to partner with K.E.Y.S because I'm very hands-on with the community and mental health interventions to kind of just help the inner city and people that I see that aren't really comfortable getting and obtaining mental health for themselves and their families because of stigma, because of being judged, mismanagement with medication, feelings that they'll become a guinea pig or laughing stock, and not really feeling they'll be heard and treated with empathy. So I've had the opportunity to work with K.E.Y.S and bring nursing and medication management is what I do for the company. And just to be able to bring what I do, what I love to do into the community and make people feel comfortable, expressing their feelings and their struggles mentally and so on and so forth. I don't know if many of you know, but the suicide rate with young adults and teens has skyrocketed in Baltimore City in the past 5 years or so, higher in this city than any surrounding city in Maryland, which is alarming. So the Healing Village it's necessary. It's a gateway for people to come to when they need help. They're not being told, "Oh, just have a glass of ginger ale, take a nap. Nothing's wrong with you. Walk it off." Be comfortable that you're being heard and not judged. This is needed. This is a place. I have mothers who I talk to are overwhelmed. They don't know how they're going to get here. They don't know how to feed their children. Just the fact that they know that they can come to this community center and feed their children at night, you have no idea what a relief that it brings to a struggling single-family home or two-parent home that are just struggling. So just interventions in the community to help bring people together, to make people feel comfortable, reaching out and getting the help that they need in a non-judgmental environment is epic. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. So that's it. I look forward to working with everyone, and I'm just ecstatic for this partnership. Thank you.
So, as we are coming to a close, there's a group of people that I want to thank for us being here, and that's the K.E.Y.S staff. Because as we're thanking people, we don't do the work alone. Abdul, Keith, and myself, we only a reflection of our staff, and they're doing the work. So I want to thank you, each of you, for allowing me to get on your nerves every day and night, and you be on call 24/7 to this community. I want to thank you. I want to thank Mr. Hunt. Mr. Hunt, if you can stand up for me, brother, please. Because the work that we do, this brother's been doing long before we started. There's always someone in the community who's putting out work and putting out fires and making sure that he holds all of us accountable. Mr. Hunt, we promised you when we came to your community association 4 years ago that we were going to get this done. And as we're talking about belief, many in that room, I'm sure, didn't believe that these young brothers would get to this point. But you did. And you continue to believe in this community. Thank you for everything that you do. There are two sisters that I need to stand up. Erica Robinson. Asia Doswell. So if you interact with K.E.Y.S, just know that the programming that we implement are developed by these sisters, because they say behind every black man, So even though my wife is right there, we got two amazing women that develop programming and do a great job at ensuring that we are successful day in and day out. Thank you to everyone for coming out. But before we leave, I have a short story. I'm gonna keep it a little shorter, Karen. I'm gonna keep it a little shorter. But this is a story. This is a story about mental health in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, they don't have many Dr. Learns. They don't have many. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there was a challenge because you have all of these people that need services. And this doctor, he serviced someone, but they were about an hour, even more away, and they called and they needed help. They were suicidal. And they said, we need you. And this young lady, her mother said, I'm going to bring her to you when we get out the hospital. But when she got out the hospital, the barrier was an hour away, and they didn't have the $15 to get there. And this young lady committed suicide because she did not have access to the services that she needed. So this doctor had the amazing idea to make use of community, to make use of human capital. And what we have in this community, we have human capital. He made use of grandmothers, and he set up benches. And the grandmothers sat on the benches, and he trained the grandmothers because it's not enough of us to do the work that's needed for our city. But I think we just might have enough grandmothers. So he used these benches, and we saw the reduction of depression significantly. This was inspired. This inspiration came from the lieutenant governor. You see this logo? This logo was inspired by you. And as a part of this project, we want to assure that you know that your inspiration wasn't just talk. Come on over. These benches are now a part of this community. As a part of these Healing Village, we will use our grandmothers, we will use our grandfathers, and we will help them so we know the plaque reads, K.E.Y.S Community Healing Village, inspired by Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford. With that, we thank you for coming out. And we're going to step over to the dirt.